for section 8 of the Tula Pink Butterfly Quilt. I think you're really going to have a good time today. This is not a difficult block. I say that every month, but it's just really not. We're going to be doing another set of medium pies. We're going to be doing 3 different ones in 3 colorways. We'll do a small log cabin, medium log cabin, and some half square triangles. And that's it. It really will be fun, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get started. One thing that's going to be a little bit different in our sew along today is that I'm really not going to demonstrate anything on my sewing machine simply because you've done these blocks so many times. It's kind of old school for you. So I just kind of felt like, well, I'll just show you the layouts and the colorways. I think the supplemental guide will be really helpful for you as well, especially with some of these dark blues that kind of get a little tricky. But really and truly today, it's a short tutorial. It'll take a little bit longer to put the blocks together. But like I said, you've done this before, so you probably really didn't need me to sit there and talk you through how to do it. But I think you'll be okay. I think in the end, I think you'll be okay. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to ask me in the comments below, or you could also refer back to section 7 because I really feel like that will be very helpful to you if you needed help. Probably the only thing you need help with would be the medium pie, and even that is not that challenging. So at this point, anyways, if you're ready, let's go jump in. The first block that we're going to be working on today is the medium pie, and it's not a hard block. We've done this before, so the layout's pretty simple, and it just took time to trace the pieces that we needed. Make sure that you're looking in your book so that you know exactly which pieces that you need. So you know exactly which pieces you need. This is one of the medium pies, and it has the mineral, the blue mineral on the outside. Isn't that beautiful? Oops, let me scooch that down a little bit so you can see it better. That's what that one looks like. Okay, that's that medium. We're going to make a medium pie out of that set of fabrics. Then we're going to make a medium pie out of this set of fabrics. And I'm noticing that I have some white marks on the outside of my fabrics. And the reason is because, oops, that doesn't go like that. It goes like that. It is really, really hard to use a tracing pen, no doesn't matter what color you have. It's really hard to trace on these darker colors. And so the one thing that I thought made it easier for me was to use this white marking pen. It's by Clover. I found it at my Joann's, and I know they have them online, but it really does make a difference, and it makes it super easy to trace and see the lines when you're cutting, especially if you're cutting for accuracy. Okay, so we have that one. And then this is the second medium pie. That's the second colorway. We're going to do 2 in this colorway, 2 in this colorway, and then we have a third one that we're going to do that has the large polka dot. And I see on this side, of course, I traced on the back side, and I can see that I traced with pen. So that looks fine. Okay. But I know that when it's the darker colors, it's so difficult to make that happen. And then we have this third colorway to make our last medium pie. And I can see the white marks on the fabric. Again, they're all going to disappear once it gets ironed, and so it's not a big deal. But just so that you know that is something that is that I find really useful. So I think you can never have too many of those awesome pens. So since this is a repeat block and we've looked at it before, let's just kind of review, and then I'll sew off camera. There's no need for me to do it since we've sewn this together so many times. So I'll just put these 2 colorways away, and I'll just use this one that I have right now. And I'll put these pieces away because it will do the same thing on each one. So you're going to take your quarter wedge, and I just fold it together and make it so that the corners meet, and I just do a little finger press there and get that press there so you can see the line. And then I'm going to come do the same thing here, and I'm going to press, and I'm going to just press here with my finger, press, okay. And then all I'm going to do is do right sides to right sides. So I'll lay that down, and then I just want to make sure that when I turn it over that my lines are, for the most part, like the points are pointing in the same direction. They're not off like widgety, like off to the left or the right, but they're pointing in the same direction generally speaking. Okay, I'm doing the best we can. I'll just line it up. That looks pretty good. Okay, then I'll grab my pin cushion, and I'm just gonna put a pin here. If you remember this, I'm sure you do. Put a pin here. Then I'm gonna take this straight edge here, and I'm gonna curl it around to the straight edge of my wedge. And this is where I like to take that double dip, just because it kind of keeps my seam nice and straight as I don't lose any pieces. It's just a security thing for me, nothing more. Then I'll do the same thing on this side, but I do flip it over because it makes it easier to pin, which is not a big deal. Okay, and I take that short straight edge, and all I'm doing is bringing it up to the long edge of the wedge. Grab another needle, take a double dip. Okay, now we've got this, and remember we have all that fullness that we need to ease in. This is going to be the piece, the quarter wedge is going to be laying on the deck of our sewing machine. So this is the piece, the one up here, that needs to get clipped. And one of the people that's doing our sew along with us, or our slow along, is sweet Rhonda. And Rhonda, she commented on the last YouTube video. She goes, "Oh, those clips made all the difference in the world." So all you do is just make those tiny little clips, probably 1/8 of an inch, no more than that. Just, you know, and I don't have a set number that I do. I just kind of do them about every 1/4 of an inch. It's no big deal. And you just kind of come in there and make those little clips. And one more. Rhonda, that's a positive affirmation. I like that. I appreciate that she commented that made it easier for her. And that's what it's all about, is how to achieve the best result with the least amount of frustration and effort. So I'm just going to kind of pull that, just like we've done before, pull that apart a little bit, and just watch those clips that we just made allow us to ease in. And I'm just going to put a pin right here. It's kind of the midpoint, maybe not exactly, but it's close to the midpoint on the left side of the wedge. And then I'll come over here and I'll do another one, another pin. And I'll just take those just a little nip, not a long one. Move that one. And then I'll do one over here. Now, you may not need to pin as much. You may just be comfortable to go ahead and go with what you've got, which would work great. But I have a tendency to do quite a few little nips just because I just like the security of it all. So here I am. I'm just going to kind of pull that apart a little bit. You can see the wedge. And they're tiny. Those snips were tiny, but they're going to work for me. And a little nip here. And I'll come over to the left and make one. So I've got quite a few pins in here. So as I'm sewing, but I really am looking for that, you know, accurate 1/4 inch seam. Really looking for that. And here's my last one. Now when I go to sew, and like I said, we've done this before, so this is just a refresher for you. Your 1/4 wedge will be on the deck of your sewing machine. You'll start here and you'll sew. I like to just start, and when I do, I just kind of pull it out a little bit just so that I get it started, and then I feel better. I'm using my leader ender, so I'm not going to, you know, eat up the first part of my block. But then that way it kind of makes it easy. I do use my stiletto as I'm coming around to make sure the edges are all flush, that everything matches up. And then when I'm done, we're going to we're going to press. Let me see if I can get my pin out of here. We're going to press our wedge that way, press it out so that, you know, the seams are facing out as we go out. So that is one of the three colorways that we're doing. We're going to do 2 of each colorway so that we have one side for the right and one side for the left. So take your time. It does take, like I said, a little bit of time to trace this, but it was well worth it to have patience and just make sure I cut it out with accuracy, because that makes it all the difference. If you cut it accurately, trace it accurately, then cut it accurately, your blocks are going to piece together accurately. So every step that you take along the way is going to add up to your success. So just take your time. We'll do 2 colorways with this medium pie, 2 in the other, and 2 in the other, and we'll have 1 for each, the left and the right. So go take care of that. I'll sew those off screen so that I can show you what that looks like. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. It's going to look gorgeous. And here they are. These medium wedges, they really are beautiful. Take your time, because when I sewed them together, I just want to make sure my edges line up. But you do the best you can. My experience is every piece is not going to line up exactly, no matter how hard you try, but just depends on how you put it in your quilt. I think if I were to put it in my quilt today, I probably would put it this way, because this is my best intersection. That's where your eye goes to. It's more forgiving on the sides and the bottom. So I always try to put my most accurate seam right at the very top, because that's where I guess people tend to look. So that's one colorway. And then we have this other colorway, which is so beautiful. And we have one more colorway. Okay. So in the end, we have a total of 6. I've done my right side. Now I need to go sew my left side, but they are so pretty. Yay! So I'm sure you're looking at your supplemental guide. We are doing 5 different colorways of the half square triangles. So follow the directions on that one. And the half square triangles, we've been doing this forever and ever and ever. So you are going to be, we only have one more section after 8, where since we're doing section 8, we have one more section that will need a few half square triangles. Some will have left over from this time, and some will have to make new next time. But these are the 5 we're doing this time around, and they look gorgeous. Are you ready to do another small log cabin? I know you're saying, oh my goodness, Stacia, we've done this so many times. I know. And again, I think today, since we're in section 8 and we have done it so many times together, I think I'll just let you sew these. I don't think you need to have me sit there and sew and do it for you, since you're so familiar with it. But this is the small log cabin colorway, and it really is a beautiful block. We'll do one for the right-hand side, one for the left-hand side, and we'll just use the floral as our cornerstone, and it will be gorgeous. So don't forget also, when you're done with that block and any of the medium pie blocks or anything that we do, make sure you always refer back to your book to make sure that you square up your block accurately before you begin to piece section 8 together. So this is what the small log cabin's going to look like. Well, at least what it should look like when we're done. And here it is. Isn't this a beautiful block? Love this small log cabin. Love this blue colorway too. Oh my goodness, the colors are so rich and vibrant. Okay, let's move on to the next block, which is going to be the medium log cabin. We're going to do 2 in 2 colorways. So hang tight, get ready. All right, the last block for section 8 is a medium log cabin, and as you can see, again, really beautiful, rich colors. Super easy. I'm just going to lay these out for you. We've done these so many times. You're probably like, oh, I got this, Stacia. I got this. Don't you feel really accomplished, though? I mean, we're already on section 8, and you've worked so hard. I bet yours is just gorgeous. I bet you're so proud, and you should be, because you know what, this is really a labor of love. I mean, really seriously. Okay, so that is the one layout for the medium log cabin. Okay, and we're going to have some similar colors in the second layout. So I'm going to move this one over a tad this way, and I'm just going to kind of scooch it together a little bit, and let's look at this next one. So similar colors, similar pieces, but not identical. And they go together. It's really kind of cool. If you look at the diagram, they go together in a beautiful arrangement. So I think you're going to really like that. Okay, so similar colors, but not all the same. And this one even actually has some repeats, which is kind of nice too. Kind of a repeat, I think sometimes just kind of is like an exclamation point, like, I'm so beautiful. Okay, and there is your, let me move this up a little bit. This is your second colorway for the medium log cabin. So again, really, really beautiful and very doable. Okay, so these go together like we've been doing them for so long. They go together super duper fast, so you will have no issues with this one. So we have, we'll do 2 of this colorway with the dot in your cornerstone, and 2 in the colorway with the dark blue as your cornerstone. So that's gonna be gorgeous. Okay, let's go make this happen. And here they are. Aren't they gorgeous? these are the 2 medium log cabins that we'll need for the right side. And then I'll do 2 more medium log cabins for the left side. And they'll be identical to these 2. So that's all we need for this particular section. So section 8 has the medium pies, the half square triangles, the small log cabin, and the medium log cabin. Okay, gather all your pieces together and let's go put this baby together, all of section 8. Let's see what it looks like when we piece it together. Now that we've squared up all our pieces, let's go ahead and figure out how we're going to lay out section 8. And as you know, I always like to start with the right side because that's, for me, the easiest side. So I'm going to start placing some of these pieces down, and I'm going to make sure that they look like they're in the correct orientation before we get too involved. Okay, so let's see. That all lines up like that. Okay. And then I have this one, and it looks like it goes right here. Oh, look at that. Isn't that cool how that connects? That's very cool. Okay, and then I think I have some half square triangles. Let me kind of scooch those up there. And then I have this one, and I think it goes right there, yeah. And we have some half square triangles that are going to come down. And I want to say, let's see, one of them goes right here down the bottom right corner, goes there. And then we have a piece of just a rectangle that we're going to lay there. So I think it's only supposed to be, yeah, there's only one of them there. So that goes there, and then that's going to go on top. And then this one's going to go there. And then what goes next? Let's see. This aqua one I can scooch up here. I know for sure this aqua one is going to go, and check that orientation. The aqua one's going to go here. And then we need another, looks like I need another rectangle. Need another one of these. Let me go grab that. Okay, I got that piece. I thought, well, you know what? I think it's supposed to be, well, it's going to be a longer piece. I thought it was a shorter piece, but it's going to be a longer piece because then we have these 2 half square triangles that are going to go here. And then it makes sense because then it'll add up to the difference right in here. So I feel like that'll be okay. All right, so that goes there. Now I have this piece, these 2, and these are going to go like this down here. Yeah. Let me see if I can, let me scooch this up just a little bit to the top of the screen a little bit more so you can kind of see down here. Okay, and then this one will go here as well. Oops. Go like that. So we'll have some half square triangles right there, those right there. And then I have, oh, I have this one still. This one's going to go underneath this right here. Oops, and it's hard to see. Hang on, let me see if I can even, let me scoot some of these pieces up. I'm going to kind of overlap them a little bit just so that you can see where the bottom ends up. Okay, I'll scooch all that up. And that's going to go there, and that's going to go there. Okay, that makes sense, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to add this half square triangle right down here. Scooch that up a little bit. And then we have this long, skinny piece that's going to go right there. And then we have a rectangle piece that's going to go right here. And then we have another long, thin piece, and it's going to go all the way over on the far left side. So that's what it's going to look like. Okay, so let's kind of just start taking a peek. I'm going to move this piece back out of the way because I don't need that yet. Let's start looking at what things we can sew together as we're working on this piece. And I definitely just want to make sure and check my orientation, everything. Uh-oh, this one is wrong. I turned it the wrong way. So they're all, the angle is from the bottom left to the upper right in every one of these squares. Okay, so that one was wrong. That would have been tricky. I would have maybe messed that one up if I hadn't been careful. So let's go take a look and see at some of the things that I can start pinning together to make sense of this. So I'm going to do this one together. There you go. And I'll do these 2 together. So far, nothing to worry about, nothing to match, right? Okay. And then I'll do these 2 together. Easy peasy. Okay. And then I'll do these 2. And okay, now I got a couple here I could do. So I can do this one to this. Now on this side. And then I had this one, so I could do the half square triangle to this other half square triangle. That's kind of a double pinner. That's a first for me. But at least it's, you know, makes sense, right? Okay, then I'm going to come down here. Let's take a look. I can't do anything with this yet or this yet. Okay, but I can look at these two. So as you can see here, we've got quite a few places that we need to match. So I'm going to really take my time when I'm working on this one, and I'm going to pin very carefully. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll flip over the one medium log cabin onto the other log cabin, and I'll clip just so that I know that I'm going to put these two together. Okay, that one goes there. And then I can do these two because I know that they go top to bottom, and I'll just do my medium pies, and the only intersection I need to worry about is that one right there. So let's go piece all that, and then I'll press all my seams open, and then we'll come back and see what the next pieces or the next steps are, okay? Now that I've completed my first round of sewing, piecing this section 8 together, it looks pretty great. This was probably the only one that was a little tricky, but it wasn't horrible, so in the end it was fine. So now I'm going to start looking at what I can start piecing together. So I think I'll start with these two. So I'm going to flip the half square triangles up. Again, no seams to match, nothing to be too worried about. I'll move that piece right there. And then I can put these half square triangles on the bottom of this circle, so that works. That medium pie, perfect. And then I think I will put this half square triangle unit onto this double set of medium pies. And I think that will make enough for my second round. I don't think there's anything else I can piece. So those will be, I'll piece those and be right back. Okay, now I'm ready to, I've got the piece back in place, and now I'm ready to do another piece. So I can put this together and sew that. But then, so let me just, I'm sitting here looking at this going, I think I've kind of got a little bit of a problem here, because when I want to sew these together, I've got this piece, this unit here, which normally wouldn't be a problem. But then this is a unit, right? And I'm not taking, that one's already there, but that one needs to go here. So these could get sewn together. That's fine. But then I have this and this, that'll get sewn together. I'm going to have a partial seam somewhere. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. The only thing I can think to do right now, maybe, so that I don't have a partial seam, is to maybe rip this seam right here so I could have a row. This will be a whole unit, and then I wouldn't have partial seams, because you see what I'm saying? I mean, I don't think I can do, let me think about that. I can sew this together. I don't know. It's gonna be a challenge. So let me go think this through, because I thought it's always worked out, but today I don't think so much. So let me see what I can figure out, and then I'll come back with the whole piece together. And don't forget, this longer piece goes on the far left-hand side as well. Okay, so let me see if I can figure out, but I'll be back when I've got the whole thing together. We'll take a look at it. Oh my goodness. And here we have section 8 all pieced. It's the right side. So now it's time to go ahead and do the mirror image of section 8, but we'll do the left side. So I'm really pleased. This is really nice. Okay, so let's get the pieces that we need. I'm gonna get my background pieces and kind of slide those aside. I have some of my half square triangles I'm just going to place, and those are always the one that kind of give me fits. I just always have to check the directionality of them, because they always seem to I always seem to want to lay them the wrong way, and I don't know why I do that to myself, but I just do. So I'm going to make sure they match and then lay them down. That looks good. They're all face down, looking great. Okay, just kind of play with them as you get to them. Just kind of play with them and make sure that they're laying the way that you want them to, and the way they need to, right? And then one more, okay. And now I have my smaller pieces. I'm just gonna lay those down, face down. And let's see, this one's gonna go up here because that's face down on top of that. And then this one's gonna come down here, looking good. Okay, this time I won't make the same mistake though, right? When it comes to this one, I won't sew this piece together. I'll wait and do this as a whole row because that's kind of funny. You know, everybody has those moments, I guess, right? So let's see, I'm gonna lay that down like that. And then I'm gonna lay this one down like that. And then I have some of my, this piece is kind of a little wonky right there. And I have some of my other pieces now. I'm gonna lay that piece there and this piece here. And this is my long skinny piece and it goes right down here. And then I have my rectangle piece right there. And then my long piece that goes on the far left hand, which will end up being the right side when it's all done. But there we go. Okay, I'm gonna go sew this together, and then when I come back, let's talk about sewing section 7 to section 8, because that's all we can do today, because after we finish 7, 8, and 9, then we can attach it to the rest of our butterfly. But let's go, let me go piece this, and then we'll talk about what that's gonna look like next. All right, now it's time to go ahead and join our section 7 to our section 8. So let's take a look at what that's going to look like. I've grabbed my right side of my section 8, and I've grabbed the right side of my section 7, and it's not big, but we're just going to take a look and see where do we have some intersections to be concerned with. What do we need to take a look at? So when I'm looking over here, okay, so what I'm looking at is I see an intersection that's going to join right here, because this is my section 7, the right side. I have an intersection here, and I have an intersection here. Everything else that gets joined, oops, well, I have one more too. This one right here with the circle, the medium pie. So I've got this intersection as well. There are no triangles to worry about, nothing like that. So literally 1, 2, and then 3, because once we get over here to the far left-hand side of the piece, it's just the raw edge. So we're in a good place on this one. So let's go stitch this together and let's take a look and see how it comes out in the end. It's gonna be gorgeous. I'm so proud of us. And here it is. This is our beautiful section 7 sewn to our beautiful section 8. We have one more section to go, section 9. And it's all done. It's kind of hard to believe our journey's almost finished with this beautiful, beautiful quilt. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you've had a good time today sewing along with me. I really feel like it was a good sew along, and I think that you made a lot of awesome progress. So I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, everyone.